So for some of our ingredients, this is what I'm going to be using in these wonderful cookies. Now I've got a cup of walnuts. These are English walnuts. You can use any kind of walnuts you want. You can use pecans, you can use Brazil nuts, just whatever you like the best. I've got a cup of raisins. You can use the golden raisins if you want to. I've got candied pineapple and two different colors of candied cherries, the red and the green. And they pretty much taste the same. But what I'm going to do with my pineapple and my cherries, I'm going to chop them up. Kind of chop them up fine. So please, please, please don't let the thought of fruitcake turn you off from some of the best fruitcake cookies you'll ever eat. Because I can tell you, I'm not a big fruitcake eater myself. But that being said, in my cookbook, Blessed Table, there is a recipe in there for one of the best fruitcakes you'll ever eat. My friend Michelle sent me this recipe. Actually, she sent me the fruitcake in the mail with the recipe. Now, I want you to know, this was back when, you know, so many people were ordering groceries and so much online because they didn't want to get out. I mean, that's how long ago it's been. And she sent me this fruitcake and the recipe in the mail. And I think, Michelle, you may have to correct me on this, but I think it took a good 2 weeks before I got it because we was worried to death about it. But she wrapped it up so well in cheesecloth. But I want you to know, when I got this fruitcake, it was delicious. It was so good. And I'm not a fruitcake eater. So if you have my cookbook, the recipe is in there. It's handed down. It's a family recipe. And y'all will really like it. So if you have my recipe book, try it. You will really like it. But we're going to be making these cookies. And these, you know, I told you that I'm going to be making cookies and candies and appetizers all the way on into Christmas. And I hope I get plenty of them done before Christmas gets here. I was asked to be with a bunch of other channels to be in with their cookie collaboration. So this is in with that collaboration. And at the end of my video, and down in my description box, I'm going to put a playlist and probably the links to, there's a bunch of channels that I want y'all to check out because y'all will be getting a lot of good recipes for cookies. And this is my contribution to that and to your recipe box too. And this is some of the best fruitcake cookies you'll ever eat. Fruitcake cookies. Now the first step we're going to do after chopping up our candied fruit, which was our red and green cherries and our candied pineapple. Now you can buy this in most grocery stores. You can even order it online, which is what I've done in the past. I have found too that you can buy this out of season. And it has such a good shelf life on it that you can buy it on sale and get a lot better price on it. And it'll be good for your next holiday. Like I said, you can buy it online. You can buy it already chopped up. Now, I bought these whole and chopped it up myself because it's just a little bit cheaper that way. And because that's the way I found them. I didn't see any chopped up either. But we're going to be putting our dried fruit into our bowl. This will be our first step, what we need to do. So we're going to get our bowl up here, and I'm just going to put all my candied fruit in here. If I said dry fruit, y'all just have to forgive me. Because I'm used to having dry fruit, not candied fruit. And I'm going to put, I've got 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. And I'm going to put about half of this in with my candied fruit. And we're just going to toss this around. Now, I know there's a lot of recipes out there for fruitcake cookies. This is just one that I like, so that's why I'm going to share it with you. So just kind of mix that up to where your flour and your candied fruits kind of incorporated. Just like that. Now, I do have recipe for my cousin Julie's homemade pear mincemeat that I canned up. And that's another thing that a lot of people say ooh to, but I'm telling you, there's no meat in this mincemeat. The meat comes from the nuts that you put in there. And it is so good. I just sit there and could eat it with a spoon. And I'm going to put that link down below too, because you can do so much with this canned mincemeat. And it's the best you'll ever eat. My cousin Julie's recipe. You can make bread muffins. You can make pie. There's so much you can do with this mincemeat. So I will have that link down below too, because I don't know if I'll get around to making anything before Christmas with this mincemeat. So we got our fruit done. We got it mixed up with half a cup of flour. So, in this recipe, now, y'all that know me very well know that I don't use shortening, hardly ever. But, there are a few cookie recipes, especially this time of year, that Miss Lori will use a little bit of shortening. And this is one of them. And this is a half a cup of buttered Crisco. So, we got our shortening. And we've got 3/4 cup of granulated white sugar. And let's see, we got our shortening, our sugar, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add 1 egg. And y'all will probably see in my new mixer, I meant to talk about this and I got sidetracked. My new mixer, it's a used one. I got it on sale. You can buy a refurbished KitchenAid on their website. I don't know if I got a real good deal. I feel like I did, but that's something you might check into. Okay, I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm going to put a half a teaspoon. In fact, I'm going to measure my almond extract. A half a teaspoon of almond extract. And what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this on and we're going to mix this up just a little. Well, I got to plug it in first. That might help just a little bit. Come on, Laura, get it together. Now I'm just going to whip this and cream it up. I ain't going to mix it too much. And I can smell that almond flavoring. I don't like to put too much in my cookies and cake because it seems like almond flavoring really overpowers. So that looks like it's creamed enough. Now it says too, I don't want to do this wrong. Sometimes you have to be careful that you don't get ahead of yourself and do a step different. So the next step is to put your mixture of your candied fruit and the flour that you mixed up together. I really like this mixer. It seems to have done a really good job so far. And of course, I love the color because y'all know my favorite color is red. Okay, we've got our mixture of fruit. We're going to put our remaining flour. Because remember, we put half of that flour already in with our candied fruit. We're going to put a half a teaspoon of baking soda and a half a teaspoon of salt. We're also going to, let's see, I need to go ahead and put my raisins and my nuts in there. Okay, here is our cookie dough. You don't want to, mix it too long, just till it's good and mixed up. And I can tell you this smells really good. It's pretty. It's going to be really pretty once it's baked up. And Miss Lori did taste the batter. And please don't comment that eating a little bit of a raw egg's going to kill me, because it's not. People eat raw eggs for health reasons all the time. You just have to have common sense about it. But I can tell you this batter is delicious. So I can just imagine how good the baked cookies are going to be. And I can tell you from experience, they are very good. So let's get our baking sheet ready. Okay, we have our oven heated to 350. We got our cookie dough. Got my little cookie thing here, scooper, and I'm going to make some pretty good sized cookies. Now, I got my cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. I like to use parchment paper when I'm making cookies. Now, this is a recipe that you can double. And this is going to be a recipe in a cookie that you'll want to make and send to all your family and friends if you're sending cookies and candies and stuff like that. Now, as big as I'm making these, and you don't have to make these this big. They're going to be in a 350 oven. I'm going to check them at 10 minutes. And they may have to go 12 or a little bit longer, because like I said, I'm making them pretty big. But you make them what size you want to. I'll be making these, and I'll be sending these with Danny, Mr. Brown, and he's going to take them to work with him and share them with his employees, his bus drivers. I tell you, bus drivers are one in a million. If you're a bus driver, believe me, you are a special person. I drove a school bus, for about 3 years. And I'm just going to tell you all the truth. My nerves couldn't take it anymore. It just got to be too much. That's why I say, there's my oven. If you're a bus driver, you are a special person, because it takes a special person to be able to put that much responsibility with that many children in your hands every morning and every afternoon. So, these big old honking cookies are going in the oven. Now, you could put this in the refrigerator for a while, a couple hours. You could put it in overnight and bake them the next day. These cookies freeze well too. So, let's get them in the oven, and I'm going to see how long these big things take to cook. I want to show y'all, I didn't make my second batch as big as I did my first batch. These are still warm, just come out of the oven, and they look so pretty. Over here, there's my first batch. Yeah, I made them just a little bit big, but man, are they good. But these are prettier. So don't make them as big as I did my first batch. Just make them regular size cookies. Took about 11 to 12 minutes to cook on 350. So don't let it fool you, these being called fruitcake cookies, that they're going to taste like your old fruitcake, like you used to get back in the day. These are delicious. Now, the one thing I didn't do is I didn't put them in the refrigerator or the freezer before I baked them. So they kind of spread out a little bit. But if you'll put your cookie dough in the refrigerator for a while, even overnight, you'll get a cookie that'll be a little bit thicker, hold up better. But mine kind of spread out. But you know what? They still taste good. And they're so pretty, with all the different colors in them. So I hope y'all like this recipe. And I hope y'all give it a try. Because you know Miss Lori's not going to steer you wrong. Like I said, I've never been a big fruitcake eater. But these are on my #1 list of Christmas cookies for sure. So guys, y'all try this. See how pretty that cookie is? Looks really good and tastes really good too. It's a soft, chewy cookie, which I think you'll enjoy. Now there's other channels that are making a bunch of really good cookie recipes. I'm going to try to find that playlist. I'm going to put it down in my description box. If I can't find the playlist, then I'll try to get all the channels' names down there so y'all can go to it and watch all these wonderful recipes. So, I'm going to eat the rest of this cookie. And I'm going to sit down for a little bit, put my feet up, and enjoy myself just a little bit. We'll be back to see y'all in a couple of days. I think I've talked Mr. Brown into cooking supper tonight. And I may even video it because it's going to be kind of his special signature on supper. So maybe in a couple of days you'll see Mr. Brown cooking. And maybe he'll even read a scripture to you. God bless everybody.